Hello and welcome to LAPD's Central Division. Join Chief Charlie Beck for a conversation regarding the Chief's message for the month of August 2016. Hi Chief, how are you?
Jack, I'm well, thank you.
So sir, you were commanding officer here at Central. How was that as far as significance to your career?
Well, you know, Central is absolutely unique, and I never worked Central as a police officer. The first time I worked here was as a captain. Central has such unique challenges, and you know, the things that are important in other divisions are less important here, and the things that are nuisances in other divisions are just, you know, central problems here. And so you become, you know, it's a different kind of policing. But interestingly enough, it prepared me for today, because the problems of that were traditional in Central for decades, like homelessness and disorder crimes, now are all over the city. You know, so the things that I learned as the captain at Central, things I learned from my SLOs and from working the problems here, are now very valuable citywide. You know, so Central in a lot of ways leads the city in the way that we deal with some of the really important issues, and one of them is homelessness.
And speaking of SLOs, sir, we have two really fantastic, in my opinion, yours as well, I'm sure, SLOs that are here in Central, not only well known in Central, but personal friends of mine, and as you well know, you know them very well. And we'll start introductions with you, sir.
My name is Officer Al Flores. I work in the Historic Corps. Been working for the LAPD for 9 years.
Ma'am?
I am Officer Jamila Jones-Linton. I've been here at Central for about 4 years as a SLO, and this is home to me.
So you have comments, questions? Al, we'll start with you.
Sure. Recently you were in Washington, D.C. and you met the President and law enforcement leaders. What came out of that meeting, and how is it going to benefit our department?
Well, you know, Al, so that meeting was convened by the President because he's trying to come to grips with the conversation surrounding law enforcement nationally. You know, the use of force conversation, the bias policing conversation, you know, and the violent crime conversation. So he convened activist folks, like some folks from Black Lives Matter chapters. He convened some clergy. Al Sharpton was there. A few police chiefs, me, some political leaders. The mayor of Los Angeles was there. The governor of Louisiana, who you've all seen on television very recently, was there. Police chief from St. Paul, Minnesota, along with his mayor. So we had a long discussion, 4 hours sitting with the President and this group of people. Everybody got a chance to talk. Everybody got to put their point of view out. And so we got to inform the President of the United States about what's going on in policing. And the message that I pushed to him is the same message I put out here, is that, you know, we're a reflection of the community we serve. If the community we serve is violent, then we're going to be involved in violence just as a matter of day-to-day business. You know, it's not like a police officer has a lot of options to deal with a violent suspect. You know, you're eventually going to have to go hands-on, and sometimes you might even have to use your weapon in rare circumstance. But so I put that message forward to him, and then also one that I think is really important is that, you know, right now we're very polarized on this issue. You know, everybody has gone to their different camps, and you know, nobody wants to listen to anybody else. You know, and everybody's got some point here that we need to listen to. You know, even folks that we think are being unfairly critical of us have something to say, and we should hear it. Now, we may not be able to act completely on what they're asking for, but you got to have a dialogue. You know, you're never going to reach the kind of compromise that results in success without a dialogue. And so, you know, that was my other piece, is that you have to talk. So as far as benefiting the department, you know, I think it helps us inform the national conversation about policing, which we are a leader in, whether we want to be or not. You know, this is all of you are examples in policing. You know, this is maybe the most copied police department in the nation, and rightfully so. We have a lot of good things to copy, but I think we have to be part of that discussion, and I think it moves our agenda forward. You know, which is keep the city of Los Angeles safe.
How about you, Jamila?
Yes, sir. Chief, Here in Central Division, we deal a lot with the mentally ill.
Yeah, you did.
A lot with the mentally ill. The 5150 whole process, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
What's being done to speed that process up?
Well, a couple of things. First, a kind of an apology, because this process will never be as fast as we would like it to be, but it certainly could be faster. So one of the things that we've done this year is increase the level of SMART team coverage. So we're going to have more SMART teams in the field, and they're going to be should be enough that they're geographically located so that everybody gets access to them, and so that should help with the process somewhat. But I think the biggest issue is a bed space, because it takes a long time to find a place that's going to take your 5150, and so we're working with the county to see if we can increase that, and this is a great question, because I think this problem is going to get worse and worse and worse. We have dealt increasingly with mental illness on the streets of Los Angeles. It used to be a rare call, and now it's the most common call. And as that happens, the problems are getting worse and worse and worse. And it gets harder and harder to come to a solution. I know that all of you are dealing with folks that are just going through the revolving door of the mental health system, and you take them in and they come right back out, and then you come back out and you got to deal with them again, and you really don't have that many tools. So one of the things that we're trying to get enough people into the SMART teams so that they can do some real what they call casework. In other words, take somebody that is a chronic that you're dealing with all the time, and do the things start working with them so that we can do things longer term to get them out of the system. That's the real answer to this, because we're never going to have enough hospitals to lock everybody up. That's just not a solution that America is going to go for. So we have to get our partners in the mental health system to get folks into programs that'll get them off the street, because I think being on the street is a huge antagonizer of their health issues. I think it just makes them worse. And so as we work getting people off the street, as we bring more folks in from mental health to work with cops and the SMART teams, maybe we can not only get those 5150s handled faster, but also maybe reduce the workload there. Because this is just, especially in Central Division and actually many other divisions, this is becoming your primary job.
How about you, Al?
Sir, I've observed negativity within the ranks.
Yeah.
How do we as an organization improve morale?
And this is not just an LAPD issue. This is a law enforcement issue. Right now is a tough time to be a cop, and there is a lot of negative energy and negative comments coming towards everybody that wears these uniforms, and so, I think one of the ways is we work with each other. It's a great police department. We have great mentors here. We have, you got great peer counselors here. We have one of the most robust mental health units in the city in the nation for police officers, and so we got to work with that. And people have got to get, people have got to get comfortable with where we are in policing right now. We have a lot of things we're working on, a lot of things that are on discussion at the national level. A lot of things that I'm trying to do, reducing general violence. I think if we can reduce general violence in the city, then officers won't feel so on edge with what's going on. So we have to do all of those things. But number one, it starts with conversation, and it's not just conversations that the chief has with everybody. It's the conversations you have with each other. Value each other. Make sure that we stand united to make this a better police department and better for each other. A lot of times you can work a really busy place, but if you feel like you're part of a good team that supports each other, it doesn't bother you. Matter of fact, you might even enjoy it. And so I think we need to look at that, and we need to look how we treat each other, because we certainly know that when you walk out those doors, and you get in that police car, that there's going to be people that have negative connotations of the police, and they're going to act on it. And that's not your fault, and it's not even LAPD's fault.
How about you, Jamila?
Chief, it's been in the media that you met with a few rappers as well as attended a gang summit.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what the purpose of that was?
So one of the things that I have been trying to do for decades is reduce gang violence. You know, we lose far too many people in the city of Los Angeles to shootings and stabbings that are gang related. You know, gang crime is probably 25% of our violent crime. It's 60% of our murders. It's the vast majority of our shootings. You know, if we could reduce gang crime, we could not only make Los Angeles safer, but I can make all of you safer. You know, the thing I worry about the most is, and the thing that is most likely to cause harm to Los Angeles police officers, a gangster with a gun. You know, and so if we can limit gang violence, I can achieve a bunch of my goals. One of the problems that we've had with one of the problems that I think we have with reducing gang violence is gang culture. Gang culture glorifies violence, many gangs, you know. And so if I can find an avenue by which I can reduce that glorification and make people think about what we think about, which is that, you know, life should be respected and that it's not something to be easily taken, and if we can do that, then I could achieve a goal. And so if I so working with uncommon partners in this, people, you know, that are in the rap community and the hip hop community that have so often talked about violence in their work, you know, if I can get them talking about a message of nonviolence, of harmony, of peace, and maybe that will reach out to that young audience that doesn't really listen to the chief, you know, and doesn't really listen to politicians, and doesn't really listen to clergy. Maybe they will listen to somebody that's in the entertainment industry. And we're going to bring in also sports figures to do this too. So, you know, it's all part of trying to make this city a safer place, not only for the people that live in it, but the people that protect it, which is you. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'd ride through the gates of hell to keep you safe. And so doing this is easy.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate what you do.
Thank you, sir.
Be safe out there. Take care of each other and do the right thing.